Hello? You're the first one on. Now we've got two. So as soon as we get about 3 or 4, we'll go ahead and start. So I don't know where you're located, but here in Everett today, the weather was just gorgeous. Do you know, we just started. So I've only been on for less than a minute. So we're going to give it another couple minutes and let another couple people jump on, and then we'll go ahead and start. So we're making 2 vinegars today. We're going to start out making apple cider vinegar, and then we're going to go ahead and make 4Thieves vinegar. Now, why would you want to have apple cider vinegar? Apple cider vinegar is an amazing health preservative for you. It is, it's heart healthy. It is been used to treat type 2 diabetes. There's been studies suggesting that vinegar may improve insulin sensitivity by 19 to 34%. There is, in a study of healthy people, the apple cider vinegar reduced blood sugar by 31.4% after eating 50 grams of white bread. There's a small study that says that consuming 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar before bedtime reduces fasting blood sugar by 4% the following morning, and it can lower blood sugar levels after most meals. So it is, it's pretty impressive what apple cider vinegar does. It continuing on with that, it can increase your feeling of fullness, and so it is it can help you lose weight. It promotes heart health. It is can lower cholesterol and triglyceride levels. The heart tests that have been done, heart studies have been done on animals. They haven't done any heart studies yet with apple cider vinegar on humans, but it is indications are good. Also, it is it can change the pH of your skin. So skin is typically a little bit acidic. If you use a topical apple cider vinegar, not full strength, you want to dilute it, it can help with acne. It can help with eczema. It can help with psoriasis. So it is, it's got antibacterial properties, and you can actually pour it on an infection and it will help kill the infection. So it doesn't necessarily taste wonderful, but you can get used to it. I used to drink it when I was, I don't know, several years ago. I was putting a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and a tablespoon of honey and in warm water and drinking that. And it got to the point of that I really did like it quite a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take your quart jar and you're going to take some apples and cut them up. Now, generally what I would do, and this is your kind of frugal hint, is when apples come into season, and you can get them for little money by the case lot, what I would do is I would take the apples, I would peel them, I would make out of the apples themselves, I would make applesauce, and then I would take the skins and the cores and I would make jelly out of that. So I would put them in a pot and boil it until you had a really solid apple broth, and then make apple jelly with it. And because my family liked applesauce a lot, what we would do, what I could do is make some apple jelly and then some apple cider vinegar. So the entire apple is used, and that way you're not really spending much money on your apple cider vinegar at all. It is, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut the apples into pieces, and the seeds and everything else you want to put them in. So just rough pieces, and you're going to fill your jar 3/4 of the way up. So that's going to probably be about 3 of these little small apples that I have. Now the other thing that you're going to want to do is at some point you're going to want to put the date on this jar. So get a piece of tape and put the date on it so that you know when 3 weeks is up, because otherwise it's really easy to lose track of time, and that is that's not a good thing. So actually it took 2 of the small apples. Alright, now, because you need to feed the bacteria, because you're fermenting this, what you need is 2 tablespoons, or actually 3, of sugar. And I forgot to get my tablespoons, so hold on. There we go. So, I'm going to take a cup of water, right here, and put 3 tablespoons of sugar in it. And then I'm going to stir it up so the sugar dissolves. Now we talked about, or I sent you a thing saying that you needed to have something to weight the apples down. So if you have a small jar and you fill it with water so there's weight to it, that works. Or this is a fermenting weight, and that's what I'm going to use. So you're going to pour the sugar water into the quart. Now, it's going to take more than 1 cup, because you want to have the apples totally submerged. But if you are putting your weight in it, there you go, then you also need to make sure that you don't fill it too full so that it spills over once you put your weight in it. And then we do the same thing that we did for the sourdough, is you put the coffee filter or cheesecloth over the top of it. And the rubber band to keep it on. Now you're going to put this in a cool, dark spot, so like in maybe one of your cupboards, and let it sit for 3 weeks. Now the thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to check it periodically to make sure that the apples stay submerged. Because if the apples don't stay submerged, they will start to mold, and you don't want that. So that's, once it's been 3 weeks, then you're going to strain the apples out, keep the juice, because that's what you want. You're going to compost the apples, and then you're going to put this back in the juice. You're going to put back into the jar, again cover it, and you're going to wait another about 3 weeks. So it takes a long time to make this, and if you do it with your cores and your skins, then you're getting it for free. And apple cider vinegar is not inexpensive in the stores, so this is a real good way to stretch your grocery budget. After the second 3 weeks, then smell it and taste it. And if you want it a little bit more vinegary, then just keep letting it sit. When you're done with it, when it's the proper tartness for you, then go ahead and put a lid on it and start using it. So the typical dosage for most preventative health is a tablespoon for an adult and a teaspoon for a child. If you're using it for blood sugar, then you're going to use a little bit more. If you're using it for dieting, start out with the 1 tablespoon, see how it works for you, and if you want to go faster, then go ahead and try the 2 tablespoons. Now this is commercial apple cider vinegar. Now, and I don't know if you can see this or not. I don't know how well it is, but if you look at it, it's not clear. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's apple colored, but also it looks like on the bottom you can see it looks like there's, I don't even know what you would call it, crumbs or something in there, and that is actually called mother, and that is the way. It's the mother that causes the fermentation and causes the good health. It is, so when you are at the store, you want to make sure you buy apple cider vinegar that says with the mother, because otherwise it is possible that it is just simply apple cider flavored vinegar, which you can also buy. So you should see at some point in time mother start to gather in your jar here, because that's what you want. Don't look at that and say, oh, that's not good. That's exactly what you want. If you want to make it ferment faster, once you've made it, save a little bit of the apple cider vinegar with the mother, and you can add a little bit of that to your jar, and that will make it ferment faster. So that's another helpful hint. So, I asked you also, I told you we were going to make some 4Thieves vinegar. Now, the story behind 4Thieves vinegar is during the bubonic plague in France, there were some grave robbers that were digging people up and robbing them of their jewelry and things of that nature. They were ultimately caught, but what was interesting is they never caught the plague. And so this was like the first plea bargain ever, and the thieves gave up the recipe for the 4Thieves vinegar and got their freedom so that they didn't end up going to jail. What the French then did was they went all around Paris, or Versailles, I guess actually it was in Versailles, and they wrote the recipe for the vinegar on walls all over the city so that everybody could make it and ultimately get healthy. So there's a couple of thoughts on why that worked. One thought is that you can also use apple cider vinegar as an insect repellent. And it was the fleas that were spreading the bubonic plague. And so by using it on people, they were getting the fleas away and they weren't doing it. But if you look at the ingredients that are in here, the list was lavender, rosemary, mint, sage, thyme, oregano, cinnamon, and garlic. Those are all antivirals, antibiotics, antibacterials. It's antiseptic, it's anti-inflammatory, it's antimicrobial, it's antifungal, and it's an antioxidant. What's not to love about that? So I asked you also to get some apple cider vinegar with the mother because I didn't think with this COVID-19, it would be better to have this faster and not wait to make it with your own homemade apple cider vinegar. So I have put in my jar 2 tablespoons of everything. So that's what you want to do right now, is do that. Now I am using fresh garlic. I'm using dried everything else, but I'm using fresh garlic. Now the garlic doesn't need to be teeny tiny, but it does need to be smaller than the whole clove. And my cloves, generally, if you've got 4 good-sized cloves, that's good. Mine were not good size. They were small. So I have about 6 of them in here. I'm also of the belief that, honestly, you can't have too much garlic. So, I'm putting the garlic in here now. And then what you're going to do is take your apple cider vinegar and fill up the jar. Okay, now, if you have a lid to your jar, looking at these lids, this is a mason jar lid. The inside of the lid is coated with, I don't know what they coat it with, but it's coated with something. And then you've got the seal right around here. Vinegar, you don't want to use with metal, because it'll do bad things to the metal, and it will leach the metal into your vinegar, and then you end up with you can end up getting sick from that. So don't use metal. You're going to let this also sit for 3 weeks, but you're going to let it sit someplace warm. So if you have a window that gets sunshine, you can put it in there, and then you're going to come through and shake it up, every day or two, to make sure that everything is getting out of it. This can be used as preventative medicine, and this would be a tablespoon in a glass of water. All right, you're going to want to dilute this one because it will be pretty strong, and it's not a wonderful taste necessarily, but it's medicine. It is, so again, 1 tablespoon for an adult and a teaspoon for a child. Now, if your child is a child, like 2 or 3, I would give him like a 1/4 of a teaspoon, because it's pretty strong. You can use it in an oil and vinegar salad dressing. You can use it as a cleaner. Generally, you're going to want to dilute it, like 50% of the vinegar and 50% of the water. It's an insect repellent. You can soak your feet in it for nail fungus. Again, you're going to dilute it in the water, not full strength. Now, the thing about this vinegar is you can take any oil and use either a white vinegar or an apple cider vinegar or a red wine vinegar or a white wine vinegar, and you can make your own salad dressings. So you can make sage, you can make thyme, you can make oregano, you can make any herb that you would want. So if you're making an apple salad, you could put cinnamon in it and have a cinnamon dressing with the apples. You can do the same thing with oils. So if you want to make your own oil and vinegar salad dressing, what you would do is the exact same thing. You would put the herbs inside the jar and fill it up with oil and let it sit for 4 weeks. And then you're going to go ahead and strain out the herbs and leave and keep the vinegar. Now, when you're straining, again, you don't want to strain into a metal colander. You're going to want to use either a plastic colander or cheesecloth. Now, the thing with cheesecloth is it makes a mess, but you can squeeze it, and so you get more herbs out of the oil that's in the oil or the vinegar that's in the herbs, and you can get more of the herb taste. The other thing that you can use, and it took me a long time to figure this one out, is a French press, because a French press squashes all of the herbs down, and then you just pour the oil or the vinegar out into the new jar that you're putting it in. Now, I do have a question for everybody here, and that is, do you make these things with me, or do you watch and come back and make them? Because if you watch and come back, what I'll do is we can do it a little bit quicker. The last one we did with the soap, that seemed painful to me in taking the time to have it boil and get melted and stuff like that. And I could have it halfway done before if you're not making it with me. If you are making it with me, then we'll go ahead and keep doing it this way so that you can do it step by step. I will, again tonight, put these recipes on the page, right on the same page that you're watching. And that's what I've got for you tonight. So we're going to do butter, and we're going to do mayonnaise next week, or Wednesday rather. And also, just so that you know, the store's opening back up again. We're going to be open on from noon until 5, Tuesday through Saturday, and that is there's the quarantine area it has no traffic. They're not using it, and so I feel safer, and so we're going to go ahead and be open so that you can come in and get your herbs. If you have any questions, put them here, and I will answer them by post after we hang up here. And thank you so very much. And I don't know if I introduced myself. I don't think I did. So if you don't know, I'm Lynn from Madajan's Herbals, and hopefully I will see you soon. Stay safe and healthy. Take care.